Hello, I'm PDYX.
And I'm AntKeepsGaming, and welcome to Playing It Wrong, the show where we play random online Nintendo games and talk about them.
That's right, each episode we're going to take one random NES game and one random SNES game from the games available on the NSO service on the Nintendo Switch, and we're going to play them for at least 30 minutes each and talk about our opinions of those games.
Playing It Wrong, Episode 6.
Alright, Episode 6, here we are.
Yay!
Ant, you wanted to say something about your mic situation or something?
Yes, so if you guys can't already tell, there's a difference in my microphone quality, probably. I'm not quite sure. I'm using a headset microphone. I usually got like a Blue Yeti. But my man cave has sadly turned into a little girl's room. My little girl is now 6 months old. She's now taken over the room as she's streaming. So no more man cave. Time to man up and just let her have the room. So, and that's why there's a difference in quality. I'm recording this in my kitchen, so there might be some unusual sounds as well. So just to forewarn everybody watching or listening,
Gotcha.
should I say, not watching.
Well, I'm sorry you had to lose your spot, but I hope, as I think I said to you another time when you said this was coming, hopefully this makes your bedroom be your bedroom again, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's out of our room now, in her own room, growing up very fast. So.
Yeah. Well, we this isn't a parenting podcast, though I'm tempted to talk more about this, but we should talk about the games we played.
That's a separate episode. There's another side podcast, parenting switch heads or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Parenting heads.
Well, this is our 6th week of doing this, and this was a good week, I think. What did you think overall? No. You can feel differently than me.
All I can say is I can feel differently, but I'm just.
You think differently. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll let you go first.
We played Punch-Out for the NES and Wild Guns for the Super NES. Punch-Out is a classic game. I didn't own this one, but I played a lot of it at a friend's house, and I have memories of that. And it was Mike Tyson, right? At least here in the States. I don't know if it was different in Europe.
I think it's Mike Tyson as well. I'm just guessing. I've never played this game.
Yeah. Well,
it was John Smith. John Smith.
Now it's Mr. Dream instead of Mike Tyson. So, but it's the same game, and I don't know. I really like Punch-Out. I mean, it's an NES game, so it's not like it doesn't have all the modern bells and whistles. But I think this game holds up. I mean, to me, it's just kind of like a fighting game, and it's all about timing, and it can be frustrating and without the rewind feature. But with the rewind feature, you can save as soon as you get to a new character. Because it's just. I mean, if you don't know what Punch-Out is, I'm going to very briefly explain it. You're a boxer, and you fight a series of more and more difficult opponents, and it's really just memorizing attack patterns and what attacks work against different fighters, because really you can only do like dodge, gut punch, or uppercut, and so you just kind of learn that everybody that you fight kind of has a tell and when you should dodge, and I like it. But what was your experience, Ant?
Well, I think I played the wrong Punch-Out, because I was playing the Punch-Out where you punch like pieces of paper and then you deliver it into certain offices. So that's
Really?
No, I'm joking. I played Punch-Out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, did we have a miscommunication?
I was trying to be funny.
Your joke went over my head.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I tried to be funny. Sorry, guys. That's very cringy and probably horrible. It won't happen again.
No, I literally was worried for a minute there. I was like, oh no. Is there like a office punch?
Office Punch-Out where you use a hole punch to punch paperwork.
Sounds very exciting.
No, all I had was crickets down Patrick's, and he's like, what?
I was legit scared. Like, uh-oh. Do we need to call this and re-record later? Do I need to go play the Office Punch-Out game?
Sorry, Patrick, and sorry, guys. I won't be funny ever again. I promise.
No, you're good.
I'm joking. Exactly what you said. It's all about timing. It's all about timing. about timing with it. I found it not very frustrating, but like, Smash, Little Mac, I thought, maybe there was, I don't know, but we get into controls in it, but I thought I could KO punch. Maybe I could, but again, we'll talk about that. But I found it, you could it's all about timing, but also when you dodge, you gotta recovers your stamina, I guess. One of the stamina games sort of thing.
Yes, there's a stamina meter, and that's important. You're right.
So stamina, or wherever you're from, stamina, yeah, stamina. I like it. Smash Bros. Does it.
Total aside, but this just makes me think of this because like when like a American or a British actor does an accent of the opposite, like. This happens a lot in American TV and movies because British actors are better apparently. And then they sound American because they're doing an American accent, but every once in a while they say a word like that, like stamina. You know, and you're like, what?
Stamina. Off the Rails podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's just quickly going on to what you said. It's like the same with melee and melee. Like, do you say Super Smash Brothers melee or melee? That's another.
Melee. Yeah.
Melee. Melee. Because he says melee, the announcer, but then this is melee. So it's kind of like, what do I say? So anyway, that's my side tangent. But yeah, the stamina thing, it's kind of like, dodge, punch, dodge, punch, punch, dodge. Yeah. It's kind of pretty much like that. And then
it's repetitive, I guess.
Yeah, when you run out of stamina, dodge, and then you get to like 20, is it hearts again? Or something like that. That's your health or whatever it is. Or am I speaking wrong? I can't remember. Let's talk about another game again.
No. I think you're right. The stamina, I mean, like if you have low stamina.
Oh, that's it. It was hearts and stars, wasn't it? It was stars for something, and then it was hearts, but I didn't know what they represented.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good question.
I didn't read the manual again.
I didn't either, and that's because I felt like I played this and I knew what I was doing, but like the specifics of that mechanic, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was something like you get a certain amount of stars when you hit the opponent, then it equals up to a KO punch. But I couldn't seem to land a KO punch, even though they were wide open. I was like, come on, KO punch, nothing. KO punch, nothing. Just literally just an uppercut or another jab. There was one time where I just kept pressing buttons and knocked him out straight away, just like constantly pressing punch buttons. It's like, oh yeah, knocked him out. They're like, straight away, that's cool. Yeah. But then they got up like after the count of 3, like, what? And that happened like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it's like, you almost always have to TKO opponents in this game. It feels like I can't remember, but that's where you hit them, knock them down 3 times.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But just looking it up, I think you earn stars and then you can do a star punch is what it is.
Right.
You just have to dodge punches to get your meter back up, I think. Yeah. Anyway, how far did you get? I
got to, so who were the characters? It was, I can't think of the name of the characters. It was,
I don't know I assume they're the same.
It was Glass Joe. That's it. Glass Joe.
He's the first one, and he's almost like too easy.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree with that. Yeah.
And then the next guy, the timing on the next guy, it just feels like dramatically different. It's Von Kaiser.
That's it. And then the next one, it was the 3rd round I got stuck on. And
Gotcha.
The interesting thing about this, when you lose, you get knocked back down to the last round you did against whoever it was. So, which was Von Kaiser for me. I got knocked back. I was like, no, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
I don't think I played it for very long because, I think, as you said, TKO is the only way. I played a few boxing games back in the day. This is probably the only one of these, like, random sports I played was boxing.
Right.
And Wii Sports is another one. Wii Sports is like with the boxing on that. Usually you can get KOs from the easy, like just, from the easy rounds. You get like throw a couple of punches, they're down, to the count of 10, very first round. But this one, literally you have to TKO them completely to actually win. If my explanation was any good at all, I just said.
No, you're right. There's one character later in the game, not too much further, called King Hippo, who's like a giant fat guy, and all you have to do is knock him down one time because he's too fat. He can't get back up.
Well, I didn't get that far, so how far did you get?
About the same as you. This time around, I mean, when I was a kid, I played through it more, so I just kind of played it to refresh myself and got to the third guy. Like you said, that Piston Honda is his name.
That's
the
it.
Japanese guy.
Yeah, him.
But I did feel like, and I even was thinking I would go back to it again before we recorded. I just didn't get around to it, but I liked it, and the rewind feature helps to avoid having to go back down. But it's all these old NES games. They're more kind of the novelty of playing them, right? Like, I mean, if you want to play a Punch-Out game, I don't know, play the Wii one, right? Like, I don't,
I've never played the Wii one, but yeah.
or like it's just, or if you want to play a boxing game, it's just not the most sophisticated, best,
no,
right? Like, but it has its place in history and all that, so it's worth messing around with. So that's why I recommend it. And I think, despite it not being a modern game and all that, it with the rewind feature, it feels like it's still an okay game. No? Yes? Agree? Disagree?
I think it's because
I have the nostalgia glasses on because
yeah.
I liked this game when I was a kid. So if you take the opposite position if you feel it.
Yeah, no, it's just I'm trying to figure out like if I liked it or not. I mean, I don't think I used the rewind feature this time around. If I did, it was very little. I think because you're just so invested in the game with that.
Yeah.
I think that's the good thing about it. Like you wanted to just play the game, and it was enjoyable. So I'll give it that. But then,
yeah,
I think my personal opinion
maybe
is my impression was just like it's kind of like not good, but then not bad, but then I still got enjoyment out of it regardless.
Right.
But then when I got knocked back down, which is kind of good, you don't have to start all the way, from the beginning. You just get knocked back to the previous.
Game over, start at the beginning, like a lot of NES games. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would give it like 70% good and 30% not good.
Okay.
Something like that. So it's not completely like 50-50, but something like this. So it is more good than bad, but still it has its bad points to it.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. That's a pretty good score for an NES game, I think.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk. Yeah. Would you have anything else on Punch-Out before we move on?
Just the whole thing. When you told me about the select button, that's what I always go to now. Like for any sort of like special move, I'm thinking
it's critical.
And nothing now.
Yeah. Now this game actually, I might be wrong, but you don't even use A and B button, right? Like there's just one of them is punch, or maybe both of them are punch, and then you just use up to do an uppercut or whatever, right? Am I wrong?
Well, I used the buttons, but it seemed like some of the buttons were duplicate of another button.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Well, it's not a complicated game.
No. I think it's one of these things like Donkey Kong Jr. If you want something quick and fun to play.
Yeah, where you can maybe beat the first guy or two and then quit or something.
Oh, I did. The first two, well, when I got to the third guy and got beat and got knocked back down to second, I'm like, I'm not playing this.
Yeah.
I played it. That's it.
Well, that's it for Punch-Out then. I mean, they're soft recommend from us, it sounds like.
I like that. Soft recommend. I'd recommend a soft recommend.
What about, so for the Super Nintendo, we played Wild Guns. What was your opinion on Wild Guns? Well, I guess we should introduce this game. This was a sort of like Western. What is the touchstone game for this genre? Like, I think is it Sunset Riders? Is that the like one I'm thinking of?
I have no idea.
Well, it's that sort of side-scrolling like run and gun, like where you're in a wet American West, Wild West thing, and you're kind of like shooting at guys popping out of windows.
We have robots and aliens and kingpins all reside.
Well, yeah, and this one has like the very like you're right, like that's its slant, is it's like futuristic-y Old West. But I think Sunset Riders, which was like a arcade game, is the one that maybe was one of the first ones of these. Probably not the first Old West video game, but like of this style. But this is sort of a clone of that. And like you said, there's robots and stuff instead of just cowboys.
Yeah, and secret agents and bodyguards and what else they can throw at you.
How was your experience of Wild Guns?
Well, I have to take the crown off Demon's Crest and put it
Oh,
on
really?
Wild Guns. It's the new champion of save states and rewind feature. It is Wild Guns.
It's weird. And I had this really strange experience, and maybe like right after we recorded our last episode and picked these games, I decided I'll try out some Wild Guns pretty soon. Like if not that night, like the next day. And I just sucked. Like I died immediately.
I did.
What I mean?
I did. The first level, I even said to myself, I died. I could not die on the first level. I died on the first level.
It was. I died on the first level. I died on the first guy. Like there were, because I don't remember this happening in other games like this, but there's enemies you're shooting in the buildings and what have you, and then there's some enemies that come up like close range.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of switch your attacks to deal with them, but I could not figure that out. And I also was not using the right buttons. I think I was like using special attacks only, and I was just like,
yes.
I am terrible at this game.
Exactly the same as me.
Real quick. So I set it down, and then I picked it up a few days later and had the complete opposite experience. But go ahead and tell me your what you had a similar experience as my first one.
Pretty much died on the first level. Used my special, the TNT explosion thing. You got used it like 3 times because I thought I think it was like one of the normal buttons you think is like for a normal attack or something on one of these games is now the special button. I don't know if that's true, but it felt like it to me. But I used like the special.
Definitely
button.
felt like it.
Yeah. Used the special, I guess, in that game 3 times in a row, and I was like, "What's exactly happening here?" And then I realized, "Oh yeah, that's the special."
Right. So yeah, like I think it's fun. I'm glad to hear you say that because I had the same experience the first time I played it. My intuition, again, didn't read a manual, didn't look up the buttons.
We're idiots,
this time. But I did not. Nobody did this time.
Nah,
but
I never do.
But like, so I was just like, my intuition was wrong. The second time I played it, I like switched it up and started. It's like the Y button is your regular attack, I think.
Yeah.
And like once I started doing that, I started actually enjoying it.
I mean, even though there's a new champion of save states and the rewind feature, which is this game, I still wanted to play it to the very end, and I did, and we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I played right to the end. Tons of rewind, tons of save states. Used the feature so many times. If it didn't beat Demon's Crest, it sure was close because I used so many of that. Literally every little thing you got to do, as you said, close up enemies. You got to watch out for the ones in the distance. You got to do the ones like medium range sort of thing. It's I would just say it's like Demon's Crest, but of a lot more enemies that are up close and far away and shooting projectiles at you.
It's funny because like the first time I played it, I just could not figure it out and it sucked. And I set it down and like 3 or 4 days later, I picked it back up again and it clicked right away. It was really weird. Like I was dodging everything and just cleaning up on the first few stages or whatever. So like when it got a little harder later and I died and kind of was like, okay, I've spent enough time with this, but I really enjoyed it too. Like, at first I was like, no, when I had that first experience, I was like, this game is awful and I can't figure it out. But I'm glad I went back to it and took that break. I don't know if you ever have that experience where, I think it's a pretty common experience in video games or really anything where you're just stuck on something and you're banging your head against it and then you set it down and then the next day or whatever, the next week, you instantly figure it out,
Well, with me, there's a story with that. Every time I seem to can't get past a part in a game, this was back in the day when I was more of a teenager, Nintendo 64, I would actually break a controller, and after I break a controller, that's how much rage I do at games. After I break a controller, and my dad's had to go at me for breaking a controller, I then get a new controller, and then I win.
Yeah, right. You need that break.
Literally break the controller.
But I think that's just a good thing to remember on some of these, like, if it's not clicking right away, give it another shot later. But
yeah,
I thought this game was great. I don't know that I'm going to go back to it, but like, if you're a fan of that style of game, and you've never played it, and you're willing to look up the manual or give yourself a break, or another soft recommend from me.
How far did you get?
I beat the first boss, and then like which was like a big robot thing, I think. Did you get that far?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I completed it.
You completed it. I don't think that's completing the whole game, though.
Yeah, no, I got to the actually last boss and everything.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Is it not that long of a game then, huh?
I don't think it was, because there was like when you do the first level, it was like 4 different sections or 5 different sections. You click on each of them, you do each one, and once you're completed, you verse the main boss himself. But again, I only did it with save states and rewind feature. I said, if you are going to play this game and you have never played it, prepare for a lot of save states and rewind, because that's what happened to me.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm looking it up on like How Long to Beat, which is a great website I love.
Oh, yeah, I use that too.
Yeah, it suggests it's somewhere between like 1 and 2 hours. So,
40-something minutes.
Yeah, they're like super fast ones are, but like,
big run.
So I guess I didn't realize that maybe I got a little farther than, I don't know. There was a big robot boss, and then there was some additional stuff, and I stopped somewhere around there. I don't even remember, because I played this pretty early on after we did our last one, but, I definitely didn't roll credits, so.
Yeah, see, it's, with me it said level 1 complete, and then, there's like 4 different sections, and you choose which one, choose like your path you want to take first, and I did all them, and got to the, last boss. It must have been, he had like a treasure room and everything, spoilers by the way.
Yeah, I think there's an innate spoilers on this whole podcast. Yeah, sounds like it's about 40 something minutes to run through the full campaign, and then you replay it, like you said, like Donkey Kong Jr. or whatever.
I mean, spoilers again. It's a kingpin, and he's got like missile turrets either side. I don't know if you in his like little room, and he jumps in. Yeah, then you.
Okay, so this is a super short game. Then you know what? Hard recommend.
Only if you're prepared to use tons of save states and rewind feature, which I did. But there's a new champion of that is this game, because every little shot you just died, and it's not like you got like a second life once you get hit or damage goes down. Literally, as soon as you hit, you lose a life.
Were you dodging with the rolls and stuff?
I tried. I mean, there's some, because like sometimes I would jump, and you can do like double jumps as well sometimes.
Yeah, you can jump straight up, or you can side roll, and the side roll is king. Like the side roll, I was able to dodge almost everything.
See, so I couldn't do that. I was like, how do I do this? I tried, because I could jump and dodge, but I couldn't just roll to one side and dodge. I didn't know, and sometimes it did it. I'm like, how do I do this? I don't even know.
I don't know, but I didn't really realize you could jump straight up until close to the end when I accidentally did that, because I was just side rolling the whole time, and that's the best move in the game, because you dodge everything when you side roll. So
there is another thing to bring up with the controls. So it's like a lasso you can throw out to like stun the enemies or freeze the enemies.
Which character did you play as?
I played the guy. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I can't remember their names either. I played as the woman, and that might be different, because I don't remember there being a lasso, but I also just might not have used it.
Well, the thing
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the lasso was a very unusual, because if you hold the button, whatever button it was, I think it's Y, he said to shoot. If you hold it down, it then throws a lasso out to like stun the enemies for a second, and or a few seconds, and
and I'm looking up the controls.
Yeah,
and I now realize why you weren't rolling and why I was. I think maybe. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Finish your.
That's okay. It's just it was so annoying, because I really just wanted to hold down the button to just shoot everywhere. You know, in some of those like games, just you hold down the button to shoot. But when you held down that button, it turns into a lasso, and then you stay in that one position, and it takes ages to get the lasso out, to throw it at the enemy, because as soon as you throw it wherever the reticle is, it will then throw throw the lasso in that direction. And it was so frustrating, because like sometimes, but to actually just unload completely, you have to just tap the shoot button instead of hold it. So it's just annoying. So I was thinking it would be the other way around. So tap to use a lasso and hold it just to shoot. But it was the other way around. It was so annoying. I did not like that.
That's weird. I had kind of the opposite experience. I think I was just holding it down, but and that's how you roll, is like you use the B button while holding Y. So and using the side like of your D-pad or whatever. So
yeah.
I don't know, at least according to what I'm looking at, but I think it's hilarious that we play these games and then we look up the controls.
Or just you, because I said you're sensible one. I rather
only after. Only after. Well, look up the controls and then play this game.
I should, but I just want to get just in there and just do it, really.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I'm the same way, but I'm telling our audience, I guess.
Yeah.
And do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah, I forget. We're talking to other people, not just myself. I'm being selfish. It's all about me.
Well, anything else you want to say on Wild Guns or Punch Out and Wild Guns this week's experience?
I feel like it's if you want a challenge, then I'd say Wild Guns. It's kind of like one of these two are these sort of games. One's an easy one-ish. One's an easy, quick-ish if you want. One's like a hard but quick game. If you want something hard and challenging, Wild Guns. If you want something easy and quick, or maybe come back to and Punch Out would be another one.
Yeah. I think these are both like, not for everybody, but more, unlike a lot of these old games where you're just like, duh, just skip it. Both of these are worth considering trying out.
Yeah. And prepare for a rewind feature. And I didn't use it to Punch Out, but the other one definitely.
Yeah, I can see using it on either of these. But let's pick our next games.
Okay.
You said that in a way that you're scared. Are you scared?
I'm more just like, what is it this time? Is it something worse or something good this week?
All right. I'm running our random number generator or our randomizer. You tell me when to stop.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. All right. Here's what we got. Man, we are landing on lots of Donkey Kong stuff. We got
oh no,
our NES game. I'm not familiar with this. Vice Project Doom.
Okay.
Vice Project Doom, a 1991 action platformer. It looks like where you play as some detective. I don't know. Vice Project Doom. Don't know anything about that. And then we got the original Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. 1994 breakthrough, amazing game, which I have not played. I think maybe I messed around with it a little bit on NSO actually on this app, but I haven't played through it.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did just briefly just to see what it's like. So
yeah, we already played Donkey Kong Country 2, but now we're playing Donkey Kong Country the original and Vice Project Doom. Huh. Well, we got this to look forward to.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah, we'll see you after we play these games.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to Playing It Wrong. This podcast is a collaboration between Super Switchheads and AntKeepsGaming. Check out the weekly Super Switchheads podcast, and also check out AntKeepsGaming on YouTube. Our music is provided by Bent Neatly. Thanks again. Bye.